What I do have set up is the dev Q&A that we're going to have a wee listen to, and I'll pause it and review it, give you guys my raw reaction, and just get your opinions on things and stuff. But just for pure clarity, let me pause this music real quick. Just for clarity, I am going to be using Gil Durthalin. I'm going to be using her video for reference. So if you want to see the dev Q&A without my commentary over the top and without the constant pausing and reviewing and talking, then please go to her channel, watch her video, because she's got the whole thing in full, without breaks and without some daft Scottish bastard talking over it constantly. So with that said, I have been told that the first minute isn't here. So we're just going to skip ahead a little bit to about here. And I've also been told that it takes Matt a while to get his mic working. So we're just going to deal with that as best as we can. Like I say, we'll listen to each point and then I'll pause it, give you guys my raw reaction, do a quick review, get your guys' opinions on it, talk about it for a minute, and then we'll move on. The video is 1 hour and 13 minutes long, so we might skip a couple of bits, or I might edit this down in post. We'll see. If you're watching on YouTube in the future, hi, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy my commentary. Hit follow or subscribe for more Dragon Age videos in the future. Right, so we're going to do a quick sound check. You guys let me know if it's loud enough. Here we go.
Take it, Matt.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
One quick thing, if you check your settings with the cogwheel on the bottom left, make sure that your
How
voice,
is that sound-wise?
like your audio is all good. If you're still hearing the music, feel free to maybe force quit Discord and rejoin by just joining the stage directly, and mute the music before you come in.
All good? Perfect.
Okay, I can move on to the next question for now.
Here we go.
I've seen, so this question was from Accra. I've seen a lot of talk about only having 2 companions in your party instead of 3 for this game. What is the reasoning behind this, and will we still get the same companion conversations and banter as seen in the previous Dragon Age games?
Ooh, this is such a good question. Thank you, whoever submitted this one. Yeah, I guess I'll start and then I'll turn it over to John Effler. So,
just very quickly, what are your guys' opinions on only having 2 companions this time around? Because for me, honestly, as a Mass Effect player, it doesn't bother me at all that we've only got 2 companions rather than 3. I think we've got less companions overall than we do in Inquisition. Obviously not in games like Origins or Dragon Age 2. But coming from a Mass Effect side of things, I really don't mind there only being 2 companions. So there's going to be like three of you out, so like Rook and then 2 companions. It really doesn't bother me at all. It sounds like we're going to be getting just the regular Dragon Age experience with banter and stuff, and with 2 companions instead of 3, we might even get more banter because there's one less person there to add to it. So we might get more banter from the 2 companions that we have out. But honestly, for me, I don't mind it so much.
first of all, as you saw in the gameplay reveal, this is a much more intimate experience. We've pulled the camera in.
That wasn't me.
For those that aren't aware, the reason why is we want you to feel like you actually are in this world, right? Like you're walking these city streets of Minrathous, you're looking up, seeing the buildings all around you. You're a part of this place. So it's much more intimate, and we believe as the narrative unfolds, this creates a lot more immersion. Now,
Fair.
How that relates to companions is in doing this, we went back and forth on it a lot, but we actually found with this perspective, having 2 companions really allows them more visibility and presence. We've talked about the incredible depth and focus we put on fleshing out these companions. They're very fully realized. So here you really get to see them more clearly. You get to see them shine. When you see Lace Harding jump into the air and unleash a volley of arrows, like, you can only really get that because of that more intimate view. So I love the spotlight that's been put on them.
That's a good point.
But I think in addition to the banter, one of the things that people are wondering about is, okay, but what about gameplay? So again, this has come about from our testing, working with the internal team, also our lovely council of players. We just found that when you're playing in the combat system, when you're planning your strategies, 2 really felt like the right number to manage. So keep in mind, Rook has a lot of different types of actions, abilities, individual attacks that are more fully fleshed out than ever before. Timing and positioning matter a lot. So this really felt like the right balance to have. The number of inputs and actions we're asking you as a player to take, including directing your companions, is higher than ever before. And I will also say, I engage with the companions. Like, I actively control what they're doing more than I ever have before in any of the other 3 games.
That's fair.
But John, I'll toss it over to you for the banter. That's kind of like the we got a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
I think that's a great question.
It's a good question. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think you could actually stop the writers from writing banter. I will say for myself, it's one of the more light but fun things to do. You get to write little stories, little arcs between different characters, and I mean, the Veilguard is no different. Banter is still absolutely core part of it. You know, we've got global banter, you know, the general stuff that you get in all spaces as well as mission specific stuff. But yeah, it's definitely still a big thing. I think and if anything, it's the most we've ever done for pairings of companions. Beyond that, we've also made sure, and I mean, I've been on Dragon Age for a while, and I know there's been issue, you know, things like, okay, well, I don't want to miss this banter. So we've even added stuff like some interruptible and resumable banter as well, just to make sure that, because again, it's a core part of the experience. Everyone loves hearing these companions talk to each other. Everyone loves hearing these little stories and relationships develop over the course of the game. And as mentioned before, companions are the heart of this experience, and banter is a big part of that. So you still have it. It's like, if anything, like I said, you could not stop the writers from doing it, even if we tried.
That's right. That's right. Well, and John,
that's one of the things that I hated about Inquisition, is that I do want to hear the banter. I always want to hear the banter. And the worst thing ever is that fucking Inquisition. What's the you know that character whenever you're at a camp? Requisition. The requisition officer. That bitch. At every single camp, whenever I would load into a camp and 2 of my companions would start talking and she would jump in with like, nothing to report, sir. I'm like, I didn't ask. And then it just cuts the banter and you miss the whole thing. And I'm like, no. Message for you, sir. No, there isn't. I asked for nothing. If there's nothing, say nothing. So I'm really pleased that the banter is resumable. That's going to be fantastic. Hold on, I'm just going to move your chat bubbles up a little bit. There we go. That should be fine. That should be okay. Just try and keep things neat. In the middle of hearing an interesting story and bam, she's there. I know, I fucking hate that girl. I hate her. I hate that character. So I'm very excited that the banter will resume, and then this way you won't miss banter, especially when you're trying to get Dorian and Iron Bull together, because they need to banter. In order to start their relationship. And I don't know if she cuts off the banter, if you have to like hear it again. I don't know how it works, if it has to play out, or if just triggering the banter will get them together. But it sets me off. It fills me with anxiety. So I'm really, really pleased that they're resuming the banter, and it's not skippable. That's great.
John, listening to you speak, one thing that comes to mind, maybe people are wondering, with two companions in the field, do I get less interaction between that? Like, do I get to see my companions interacting with the broader group more often? And the way you'll gather them around the kitchen table, there's just so many of those moments where they're all interacting with each other. Those are some of my favorite parts.
Yeah, and I think actually that's a good call, because I think the other side of it is, we're not talking too much about your home or anything, but we also want to make sure that they feel like they have relationships and a life outside of just the times you take a certain pair of companions out on the field. So we made sure that they had those interactions there as well.
Love that. Let's see. Matt, are we all set, or are we good?
I'm going to skip ahead whilst Matt figures it out.
And that was asked. Okay, I can continue, and we can come back to some of your questions. All right, so that I loved the.
They are talking a little bit slow, but I think they're just trying to be clear. I think they're going for clarity. I could turn the speed up, but I feel like information might be lost. But if it gets to a point, because they do talk for an hour, so if it gets to a point where it's really starting to grind on us, then yeah, I'll bump the speed up. But for now, just for clarity, I don't want to miss anything. But we'll see how long that takes for my ADHD to kick in. As soon as I start like getting distracted and my ADHD takes me off into another room, I'll bump the speed up.
Answers to those. How customizable is the backstory of Rook? Will we get to determine their past in the character creator? And that was asked by Briar.
Yeah. So absolutely. So each Rook has 6 different backgrounds that you can choose from. Each of them is tied to one of the major factions in the Veilguard, and each one sets out who Rook was before they were recruited by Varric. And well, that sets out the broad events. As you go through the game, as you have conversations either with members of your faction, other characters, you can define not just what those events were, but what they meant to you. What was your motivation? What was the kind of person you are as you build up Rook? Because again, we want to make sure that role-playing is at the heart of this experience, and taking Rook, giving them background to ground them in the world, but then letting you decide what that means and what that says about you is also a big part of it. So, and again, there are 6 different factions in this game, 2 which anyone who's played Dragon Age for a while will remember. You got the Grey Wardens, you've got the Antivan Crows. We also have, in addition to that, we have 4 new ones because we're in Northern Thetis. We have the Veil Jumpers, we have the Morn Watch, we have the Shadow Dragons, and we have the Lords of Fortune. So again, a lot of different options, a lot of different background, and a lot of opportunities to really define who your Rook was and who they are now. So
I'll just do a quick breakdown of the factions for you. So the Antivan Crows are the assassins that come from Antiva. Antiva doesn't have a military because no one fucks with them because of the Crows. So if you want to be like highly dangerous, well-respected assassins, Antivan Crows. The Grey Wardens, everybody knows the Grey Wardens. They're the guys that fight the Blight, but they're also the guys who were controlled by Corypheus, so they have a bit of a bad name on them. But we all know a Grey Warden. We play one in the first game. Lord of Fortunes. If you want to be a bounty hunter, a treasure hunter, or a monster hunter from Ravane, Lord of Fortunes are the ones for you. They're kind of like piratey, kind of think Isabella from Dragon Age 2. That's the Lord of Fortunes essentially. Veil Jumpers are a new faction found in the Arlathan Forest. You're essentially a faction that's trying to figure out all of the weird wibbly wobbly timey wimey magic that's happening in Arlathan Forest. I don't know that much about them because they are a new faction. Very excited to learn more about them. The Morn Watch are a subset of the Mortalitazi of Navarra. Navarra are world renowned for their necromancers, and the necropolis is where they house all of their dead. It's in the name. However, some of the dead don't pass over correctly. So when a spirit is unrested and fucking around all over the place, the Morn Watch step in to kind of help ease them into their rest, which makes them fucking sweethearts if you ask me. That's what Emmerich is. And then there is the shadow dragons of Tevinter. They're essentially a faction that's helping to abolish slavery in Minrathous. So they help free slaves and rehabilitate them, which makes them fucking sweethearts. That's the shadow dragons. I've missed one. What is it? What's the one I've missed? What have I not said yet? I said the veil jumpers. I said the veil jumpers. I said the veil jumpers. I said the crows. There's the crows, the Mornwatch, the shadow dragons, the lords of fortune, the Antivan crows. Wait, the Antivan crows, the grey wardens, lords of fortune, Mornwatch, the shadow dragons. Sixth one. I will give anybody a gold star if you can tell me what the sixth one is. I know that YouTube is yelling at me in the comments.
Status, we have the Veil Jumpers, we have the Mornwatch, we have the Shadow Dragons, and we have the Lords of Fortune. So again,
oh, did I say them all?
A lot of different
Fuck
options,
yeah.
a lot of different backgrounds,
I think
and
I
a lot
said
of
them all.
opportunities to really define who your rook was and who they are now. So
I think I said them all. I think I just blasted through them so fast. Watch the VOD back and tell me if I missed one. But anyway, that's a breakdown of the factions that we have so far. What factions are you guys going to pick for your first rook? I'm probably going to go Antivan Crow, but I am very interested in Lords of Fortune's Veil Jumpers and the Mornwatch. I want to be a Necromancer.
Amazing. Will crafting return? If yes, has it been improved over the system in Inquisition? Asked by some dude.
This is very important for me because you guys know that I play the game heavily crafting all of my armor and weapons. I need there to be a crafting system in the new game. Otherwise, I'm going to have to huff a lot of copium.
Testing.
Some
Oh,
dude
hey,
is
man.
that. I'm gonna assume some dude is a username. Great question. Oh, Matt, the lovely Matt Rhodes.
Testing.
Welcome. Hello.
Skip to the end.
All right. So,
Okay.
will crafting return? You can absolutely improve and customize your gear. Yes.
Fuck yeah.
That is a big part of RPG progression. So yes, you can improve and customize it. I will say though, it's different this time around.
I can learn new ways.
It does get into spoiler territory, so I'm going to be a little bit cagey about it. But there might be a mysterious entity that assists you with that. That'll be an important part of the narrative.
A mysterious entity? Sandal isn't an entity, is he? Is Sandal an entity? I would love for it to be Sandal, but he's not an entity. The lighthouse, the base of operations that we have is going to be in the Fade, so maybe we're going to get a Spirit of Wisdom or like one of Solus's best mates to help us. But I'm prepared to die on this fucking hill. I am still convinced that Sandal is somehow working for Solus. So if Sandal pops up, because Sandal was in the Shattered Library, I know a lot of people don't find that Easter egg, but when you're playing Trespasser and you go into the crossroads and you enter the Shattered Library, if you go round the back, there's like a ledge with Sandal's diary on it. He's been in the Shattered Library and he's surrounded by foci, you know, like the orb that Solus has that Corypheus uses and that you get the anchor from. He's surrounded by them, so I'm almost convinced that Sandal is trying to remake an orb for Solus and doesn't quite work. So that's probably why we have the dagger, because Solus has had to try and find a new way to get into the Fade without dying. But I don't know. He definitely had a little camp there, but I don't know. Let's see. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and find out. Oh my god, the silence.
Ooh.
Matt, I'm going to actually go back to our first question so that you can answer, so everyone
Thank you.
knows what faction you would choose if you could choose one for yourself.
Absolutely. For me, it's definitely the Lords of Fortune. I've had a chance to try out a bunch of them, but I think I've finally settled on them, and it's largely just because pirate barbarian is just such a.
I'm going to leave out all of their like opinions on things that they would pick for themselves. If you want to see this video in full, then please go to Gil Durthalen's video and watch it, because like I'm trying not to take too much from it other than just like the important bits that we're here to review. So I'm just going to skip ahead just a little bit.
All right. So I'm going to get back on track here. All right. What were some of the development considerations that you had to take into account to ensure that this new game flows and functions with prior games and Dragon Age Keep, if Keep is being utilized?
Keep is not being utilized.
Ooh, that's a good one too. So first of all, I would point everyone to, we did an interview with IGN that goes into some of the details there. So like if you want a deeper dive on it, check out that article. But just to summarize, we have taken a different approach on how you import your decisions this time around. It's now actually been fully integrated into the character creator, and kind of serves a dual purpose, to be honest. I play, it's not called this in game, but I playfully think of it as last time on Dragon Age.
I love that.
Right?
I'm just going to fill in this gap here. So they're not using the Dragon Age Keep anymore. Dragon Age Veilguard is going to be fully offline and not multiplayer. So you can absolutely play this game without the internet and by yourself, solo RPG style. What they've done instead is during character creation, you're going to see a series of tarot cards. The tarot cards are your decisions, like for your world state. So you pick which answer you want for each world event, and that's how you're going to import your world state into Dragon Age Veilguard. It's going to be part of character creation, I believe. I believe that the game is going to start with Varric doing a narrative, and then you go into character creation, and then you create your Rook, and you create your Inquisitor. You create your Inquisitor right at the very beginning in character creation. So you've got 2 characters to create during character creation. And then you get the tarot card sequence will either be during character creation, before character creation, or after character creation. I don't know for sure. I haven't seen the game. I haven't played the game. But that's how you're going to set up your world state. So Dragon Age Keep is not compatible for Dragon Age Veilguard, but you can still import your world state through the tarot card system that you'll get during character creation. So that's how that's going to work.
It's actually a really visual and playful experience as you go through it. I'm
just going to skip ahead a little
bit. By
bit.
revealing what decisions you can import. Like, look, y'all don't want the spoilers, but it's no secret that...
Work with the art team either. I think one of the most exciting things for me, honestly, and again, to Corinne's earlier point about spoilers, I don't want to get into too much spoiler detail, but getting to go to and work with the art team, work with the narrative, work with the design team to build out these locations that we've talked about, places that characters have referred to as where they've come from, places that characters obviously in previous games have hailed from, has been absolutely exciting. So it's you do start at Tevinter, you do start in Minrathous, but again, that's not the entire game by any stretch. So yeah.
If we don't go to Antiva, I know that they've revealed images of Ravane and images of Navarra. If we do not go to Antiva once in this game, even for 5 minutes, I will personally lead my own riot. I'm just saying.
And the first half of it is it an open world game?
Is it?
We've gone back to what we believe delivers the best, most curated, intense narratives. So this is a handcrafted experience. It's mission-based. Now, these locations can open up. You can go back, solve mysteries, do some really great side content. Not fetch quests, not grind quests, some really great side content. But I want to be clear, it's a really curated, handcrafted experience.
And just to bounce off of that very quickly, is the most important thing for us to what Corinne was saying about handcrafted. Obviously, we've talked about how, narrative story characters are critical to us, and this has allowed us to build these experiences in a way that emphasize that. extremely well. Still, again, tying into the story threads and the story beats. So
it sounds like Mass Effect. It sounds like it's going to be a Dragon Age Mass Effect game. How everything is going to be like, there's going to be a linear main storyline and then missions that are set up for like side quests and stuff. It sounds like it's going to be Mass Effect. Mass Effect's my fucking favourite games ever. I feel like an awful lot of Dragon Age misses an awful lot of stuff that I feel like Dragon Age misses an awful lot of stuff that Mass Effect provides. And if they can bring that magic that Mass Effect has into a Dragon Age game, I think it will quite honestly be in danger of being my favourite game ever, honestly. So I'm excited. I don't mind it being mission based. I don't mind that it's not open world, because they say it's not open world, but it'll be like you'll be free to explore things. Like you'll have to like unlock the locations where you do the missions and stuff and things. So it will feel free in a way, like how Mass Effect feels free. But oh, I'm excited. Linear open world. I don't want too much open world. It overwhelms me. I'm an autistic person with ADHD, and sometimes when my laundry list is too long and I have too much choice, I have to put my controller down, make myself a hot cup of tea, and cry in a corner for 5 minutes. So I don't mind a game that isn't so overwhelming. There's still going to be side missions, it seems. There's still going to be stuff to do on the side. I think it's going to be fine. If it's going to go down a Mass Effect route, I think it's going to be fine. Excuse my squeaky chair. Hope they'd let us play a demo before launch. Well, some people have. No, some people have. They had a council of creators that have already played a demo of the game, and the person who wrote the Game Informer article got a chance to see the demo and stuff. So there are people who have demoed the game and who have actually contributed, like my friend Kala, who you guys all know, Kala Elizabeth, who does an awful lot of really cool Dragon Age and Mass Effect content. She got to play it. They? Oh my god, Kala, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, I'm spacing out on your pronouns. But Kala got to play it, and Kala actually got to give feedback and influence some of the feedback for how this game came out. So even though we plebeians haven't played it, I have full confidence that if Kala was involved, then it's going in the direction that I want it to go in. Because Kala and I have talked about Mass Effect and Dragon Age, but Kala said that they love it. Kala said that it was good. I'm not allowed to say things. I don't remember what I'm allowed to say, so I'm just going to give a big 2 thumbs up. Kala's excited, so I'm excited. So here we go.
Awesome. Tasteful Toxel wants to know, will the companions have unique specializations like Dragon Age 2, or will it be the same ones we will have access to as the player in like DA Origins or Inquisition?
They're getting heat on Twitter.
Cool. Hey, Tasteful Toxel.
Hold on, I'll listen to that back in a second. If they're getting heat on Twitter, you send whoever's giving Kala heat on Twitter into my office. I'll deal with them. I'm going to listen to this question again.
To the story threads and the story beats, so.
Awesome. Tasteful Toxel wants to know, will the companions have unique specializations like Dragon Age 2, or will it be the same ones we will have access to as the player in like DA Origins or Inquisition?
I already know the answer to this one. So they're going to have special things in the sense that Nev is going to use, it's been confirmed that Nev is going to be an ice mage and Bellara is going to be a lightning mage. So I think that they're going to have different specializations as well. But I'm intrigued to hear if they have anything to say about weapons, because Bellara is a mage that uses a bow and arrow. I want to be a mage who uses daggers. Discuss.
Oh, cool. Hey, Tasteful Toxel. Yeah, so cool question. I think the best way for me to describe this is that yes, our companions will have abilities that are truly unique to them. But also, the companions do fall into the archetypes of mage, rogue, and warrior. Like, for instance, you might be surprised to hear, because she has a bow, but Valara is in fact a mage, and I love that. So, some of the abilities, the bulk of the abilities of the companions are based on their own unique personality. Like, Nev is the only mage that is an ice mage, so you get distinct abilities for her. But because she's a mage, she does have access to abilities that all of the mages share, like time slip. So we really like the balance there. It's like a good mix of representing their archetype, their class, and also their distinct specialization or personality, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, actually, I would actually say the word personality is a really great one, because that's, again, each of these characters exist. Each of these characters have a history, have a story of how they became who they were. And part of that was finding that intersection between narrative and gameplay and making sure that, again, we serve the needs of gameplay, but also allow these characters to breathe and exist as their own people, not just in conversations, but out of conversations as well.
Perfect. Yes, I forgot about that. They have brought back. Do you remember when in Dragon Age Origins how you could set a second outload for your weapons? So you could give like a sword and shield warrior a bow and arrow. They're bringing that back. So you're going to have dual weapon outloads for your characters. So I think you're right. I think they did mention mages can have like a staff and daggers. I'm so excited about that. I am so excited about that. I cannot begin to explain to you guys how excited I am about that. And Spellblade is definitely one of the subclasses that I am definitely looking at, especially because that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to play like a rogue mage kind of combo thing. You know, when we were watching the gameplay reveal and you saw the rogue rook go from daggers and then switch to bow and arrow, I love that. I love it so much. I'm very excited about stuff like that. So I might actually go Spellblade first and just see what it's like. But play like a roguey kind of mage, Antivan Crow. I think that would be so cool. Though. That I'm very excited to see how that works.
I would also say, as part of that core mage kit, healing spells are there. So
we're getting healing spells back. We're getting healing magic back. I cannot begin to tell you how much I've missed healing spells. I don't know why they took it out of Inquisition. It was in Origins. It was in Dragon Age 2. Spirit Healer. Fuck yeah. We're getting healing magic back. I don't know if it's going to be for all mages or if there's going to be like specializations, but oh no, we're getting potions. Potions were featured in the gameplay reveal as well, so we're still getting potions, but we're getting healing magic and potions. So we'll just never die. Plus Emmerich is a necromancer, so even if we do die, psych, no we don't. Emmerich will reanimate my dying corpse because he's a gentleman.
Join any of your mages, you want to make him a healer, do that.
Skip to the end.
Luna Soul Dark Moon asks, will the Veilguard have tactical combat still?
Ooh, such a good one. Okay. Yes. Combat gets quite tactical. Like, obviously this is an evolution of the combat system, and I talked about immersion, wanting you to put you in the world, like you're actually living and existing in it. But it is very tactical, and I will say we have a robust difficulty system. The tactics are increasingly important the higher difficulty level you go.
Excellent.
So, like, look, if you're showing up for a highly tactical experience, I would crank that difficulty level in particular.
I will.
But I want to make clear I want to make sure I'm super clear in my answer. You saw the gameplay reveal. Our pause time tactical mode is not overhead. It stays close to Rook. It does allow you to cycle between targets, both in and out of combat. There's a reason for that. As the game progresses, and you didn't see this in that opening hour of the game, but it'll display strategic information on the enemies. So, like, what are their vulnerabilities? What are their elemental weaknesses?
That's good.
Enhancements? What are they resistant to? So your type of abilities leaning into elemental gameplay matters a lot. I'd also say, this is a long answer, it's such a good question. Tactical decision making also takes the form, I would say this is front and center, of coordinating your ability usage between Rook and your companions to create synergies or really devastating, we call them detonation combos. So let me give you a couple of examples, because it can be a little hard to visualize. So
I'll try hard.
This helps. So one of the tactics that I personally enjoy in my own builds, I just recently played as a Veil Ranger. I love it. It's one of my favorites. If I'm fighting Fade-touched enemies in Arlathan, I like to use Balara's Galvanized Tear to pull enemies together. Like
pull enemies together like Pool of the Abyss. Love it.
It's like a gravity well.
Like
you
Pool of the Abyss.
Slow time with Nev, and slow time affects the world around you, but it does not affect you. So you clump them up, you slow time, and then with Rook,
like Dorian's Haste,
come in and do like a devastating AoE or damage over time spell or ability. And it's even better if it's a lightning-based ability, because the Fade-touched and Arlathan are vulnerable to that.
Good to know. Fade-touched. Fade-touched things are weak against lightning. Probably. As a redhead, I dispute that. But that's cool. So you can combo up your companion's abilities with your own. I mean, I do that anyway in Inquisition. Like, if I'm playing a Rift Mage, I'll combo with Solus. So Solus will put down Pool of the Abyss. And whilst mine is on cooldown, I'll just use his. So he can do... Or I'll combo Winter's Grasp. Because if you level up Winter's Grasp high enough, it does like 1,000% extra damage if the enemy is already frozen. But it also... there's so many combos I can like exploit in Inquisition. It's how I play the game. So I'm very excited that we can do something similar, if not better, in Veilguard. I'm very much looking forward to learning how I can exploit the combos of the game.
So there's so many layers of coordination and strategy and tactics. Now, we did talk about the devastating, like, detonation combos. Honestly, that's probably one of my favorite features, because that's when you're really leaning into explicit teamwork between your companions and Rook, or the companions together.
We bang.
So when I build out my team and I'm going into a mission, I try to ensure that I have at least a couple of possible synergies, detonation combo synergies within my team. Right.
So what they're saying is, what she's saying is that we have to not only take out... So when we take out companions, we either take out companions that we like and that we want to take out, or we take out companions that complement each other with their combos, which is interesting. It's a really cool strategic thing to think about. I love the term detonation combo. I want to detonate everything. I'm a mage, I want to blow things up, so I really like that phrasing, detonation, let's go. But yeah, it will force you to think about who you're going to take out, which is interesting, because I run an awful lot of Inquisition runs where I just bring out mages, because they combo really well. But now I'm going to have to think, like, well, who do I need for the situation? What combos will I need? What enemies am I fighting? Because it's a Pokemon game now. All of the elements have weaknesses and strengths. So if we're fighting fire demons, like rage demons, then we take Nev out because Nev's our ice mage. And if we're fighting pride demons who are weak against fire, then we bring out whoever the fuck uses fire. So this will be fun.
It might be between Harding and Nev, or it might be between Nev and me, or it might be both. So here, I would go into battle, I'd pause time, open the ability wheel, get information on the enemy, and the wheel will actually tell me that there is a synergy combo. You might have seen a screenshot that says combo available. it will remind you of those synergies between companions. You can queue both of those abilities up at the same time. Go close out of the pause time menu. They'll both execute. Both abilities will happen. Then the detonation AoE happens. Applies debuffs to all the enemies in a radius of it. It's so satisfying. I can't wait for y'all to see it. But the interesting thing is that, too, is a tactical choice. I'm choosing to use my companions to do that. And that means in that moment, I'm not using them to heal me or to give me that defense bonus or to knock an enemy off a ledge. So it's about the opportunity cost. I could spend the rest of the session talking about this. Apologies for being long-winded, but this is just one of my favorite parts of the game.
I am excited to see how that works in combat.
That was a great answer. Can you choose Rook's pronouns? If yes, being non-binary an option? And also, how detailed is character creation?
Asking the real hard-hitting questions. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
I already know the answer,
your
but...
pronouns? Absolutely. You can actually select both your pronouns and your gender, because those are related concepts, but they're not actually the exact same thing. So
Suck it. Suck it. Suck it to all the incels. Cry about it. Cry. It's so nice and refreshing. I know that Corin is a trans woman, but just to hear someone actually say the words that your gender and your pronouns are relatable, but two different fucking things is fantastic. Let's go. Let the incels cry. Let them cry. Let them sweat. Bigots be screaming. So that's an excellent part of character creation, that your pronouns aren't locked to your gender and aren't locked to your voice, aren't locked to your body type. So it's all something that you can customize independent of each other, which means that you can make a full Rook that fully represents you and what you want from your gender and your gender expression. And that is fan-fucking-tastic. Considering, not to throw Dragon Age under the bus right now, but considering where they came from, what a shit show trans representation was in Dragon Age Origins, to see them come this far and to develop and to progress and to learn and to listen and to understand and to apologize, to the point that now a trans woman is literally telling us that the next Dragon Age game is going to fully represent them and that pronouns and gender are separate things, is outstanding. They've come so far. Who was trans in Origins? An awful lot of NPCs who were made fun of. In Origins, whenever a trans character or a character that was implied to be trans came up, they were the butt of the joke. It was made fun of. It was a guy in a dress rather than a trans woman. And it was awful. And they have apologized for it. They were called out for it. They apologized for it. And to make up for it, they gave us the wonderful characters that is Cremisius Eclasi and of course Maeveris, one of Dorian's best friends. So they have made up for it. Oh, that one in Dragon Age 2. Origins wasn't any better. Origins and Dragon Age 2 were really, really, really bad for just making fun of trans-coded characters. It was never outright like, which by the way, Bram, you know, the Viscount of Kirkwall, you know, his secretary Bram, who became Varric's kind of like second-hand man when he became Viscount. If you play Mark of the Assassin, the DLC in Dragon Age 2 with Talus, Bran actually goes to that party with Serendipity and is made fun of for going to the party with Serendipity because she's a man in a dress. She's fucking not, and Bram's a fucking ally, and we fucking stan Bran. I love Bran. I love Bran very much. He's wonderful. He's clearly an ally. Let's go. But they have apologized for it. Bran says trans rights, but now so do BioWare. They literally, one of the devs is trans. So it's so nice to see that they've listened, they've learned. And so many of the other devs, like Patrick Weeks, came out as non-binary, they, them pronouns. So they've discovered not only what it means to express your gender, but they've discovered themselves. And now we have wonderful, wonderful trans representation, like Krem and Mayveris, and soon to be our Rooks. There's not going to be a cis Rook for days. There is, and there's nothing wrong with being cis. You're all wonderful. We are all wonderful. It's the bigots that we have a problem with. Fuck them. But anyway, love to hear it. Cannot wait for this character creation. I'm literally going to be spending like 5 hours just pottering around in character creation when we get this game. I'm so excited.
So it's really cool. Yeah, you can be non-binary. We have they, them, she, her, he, him. Yes. Emphatic yes.
Emphatic.
How detailed is the character creator? Oh my goodness, y'all. Very. I don't want to give away too much just yet.
I will.
It's very, very deep. It has been revealed. It's out there in a couple of articles about the focus on hair, the focus on skin tones that are done respectfully, full body customization. Hell yeah, we love to see it. But
let me just break this down really fast. So for character creation, you're going to have different sliders for every part of your body. You can be plus size if you want. You can adjust your bulge if you want. I feel like someone said in one of the articles that there's going to be like nudity as well. So it's going to be a bit like Baldur's Gate. Someone likened it to Baldur's Gate, how you can fully customize every section of your character. Now, I'm not going to lie, I kind of hope there's an option to turn that off, because it was the first thing I turned off when I played Baldur's Gate. I don't want to see my character's genitalia. I don't need to customize that. I have no need for it whatsoever. But I've heard that you can customize it. So, yes, you can. You can be as plus size as you want according to BioWare. So, I'm too ace to worry about customizing my character's genitalia. I'm not going to lie. I hope that there's an option for me to not see it, especially because I'm going to be streaming it. Like, I'm going to be streaming it here on Twitch. The last thing I need is for my Rook's dick to be dangling in front of you all. Nobody wants to see that. Whole butt out character creator, right? Can you imagine? I'm just going to be like, I'm going to have to get like a little on-screen like image or something like a love heart that I just put in front of Neve's dick. Nobody wants to see Neve's dick, trust me. Trust.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna show you a lot more on character creator, but we want to make sure we have the time and space to do that.
Make it Dorian's face, I will. Make it Solus's face.
Will there be a photo mode in game?
So that is something we're actively looking into. We know there's a ton of interest, so stay tuned on that one, but we are very much looking into it.
Photo mode? Never mind playing the game. We're not going to be playing the game at all. We're all going to be taking pictures of our Rook or Lucanus or Tash or anyone. Photo mode, let's go.
I can add too, that is a feature that we like the idea of, and it's not just player facing, but internally it's a really helpful thing for us as we're building things out to have that. So it's we'll let you know.
Yes.
There's always
absolutely.
DLC.
We are as geeked on that possibility as you all are.
EA can't help themselves. I don't know if it's a BioWare thing or if it's an EA thing, but they cannot help themselves. All of the major story plot points are going to be locked either behind DLC or going to be in novels that nobody knows about. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if there are going to be DLCs. Also, yes, I'm just going to be taking a million photos of Manfred. You guys know me so well. There's a Skelly boy about. Oh yeah, photo mode. Where's Manfred? I'm going to have like a folder on my PC that just says Manfred on it.
A lot of people were asking about abilities. This one is from Clemmy. Abilities, I don't think I saw this answered yet, but are we going to be limited in how many abilities we can pick from the wheel?
I actually want to know the answers
So
to this.
ability wheel does have a capacity. You'll have to choose which 3 abilities you want to bring for Rook, which 3 for one of your companions, and which 3 for another companion. And what I like about this is there is kind of an emergent gameplay depending on who you and your companions are coming into the mission with. Now, the reason for that is it actually creates a really interesting balance of strategizing, having to do that strategy about your kit, your combat kit, before the mission, and then the tactical decisions once you're in the field in combat, deciding what to do. But I do want to clear one thing up, because while there are 3 ability slots for Rook, there's so much more than that. Other actions that you can perform directly from the wheel include, you'll have an ultimate ability associated with your class or your specialization. So there's variance there. There's a type of items that you'll get that function like abilities. They're typically like buffs and enhancements.
Just give me my abilities.
In the form of runes. So you'll control that for Rook and or the team from the wheel.
Wait, in the form of runes? Wait.
You'll have an ultimate ability associated with your class or your specialization. So there's variance there. There's a type of items that you'll get that function like abilities. They're typically like buffs and enhancements in the form of runes. So,
did she say runes? Enchantment! Enchantment! What if? Do you know who's good at runes and enchanting things? What if? I mean, Dagna can too. Unless we're getting like a spirit in the Fade who can do it. But I'm just saying, guess who's really good at runes? His name begins with S and rhymes with Pandal. Oh, if Sandal doesn't appear in Veilguard, I'm not going to be disappointed. But I feel like there's a thread there that they haven't fully pulled at with Sandal. He's obviously important for something. And I kind of hope that they don't just drop him and never explain him. Because I feel like he was put in for a reason. So I hope that he's not just something that's dropped. But at the same time, I won't be so upset about it. He made that prophecy in Dragon Age 2. Nah, they do that all the time. There was a prophecy guy in Origins, and then Sandal was the prophecy guy in Dragon Age 2. So I'm not going to read too much into that. It's more the fact that he was in the Shattered Library. I don't know if they just put that in as an Easter egg or if he's actually working for Solus. I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm just going to be mad.
So you'll control that for Rook and or the team from the wheel. You may have also seen that you can direct which targets your companions will focus on. But what you might not know is that a lot of the companion gear really synergizes with that directing your companions. When you issue those commands, that too will proc based on the gear they have equipped. Really interesting and strategic.
I love when someone says proc, because the only time I've ever used the word proc or have heard the word proc is when I played World of Warcraft. When something procs, it means it activates. And that took me back. That took me back to my teenage years playing World of Warcraft in my boyfriend's office, just when something procs. I still say proc, but I've never heard anybody else say it. That's interesting. Anyway, what was she saying?
Really synergizes with that directing your companions. When you issue those commands, that too will proc based on the gear they have equipped. Really interesting and strategic effect.
So is she saying that your gear will also affect your abilities and stuff? Because there's like staves and stuff that I can make in like mastercrafting in Inquisition, you can put things onto your crafted armor and weapons that will enhance gameplay and stuff. I love that. I cannot wait to get into crafting. I genuinely enjoy crafting in Dragon Age. Cannot wait.
So they can be more ability-like, more like procced effects. There's just so much from the wheel that once you get in and see everything working together, becomes more and more apparent.
What are your thoughts on there only being 3 abilities on your wheel, though? Because, like, in Dragon Age Inquisition, we had how many? 8? Oh my god, excuse me. We had 8, didn't we? 4 and 4. Because when I pair up with Solus, I had 16 technically. I just pretended that Solus and the Inquisitor were one mage, so technically I had 16. But 3? What if you don't know what the situation is that you're going into and you pick the wrong 3? I don't like that kind of pressure. I don't like that kind of pressure at all. I'm sure I'll get used to it. I'm sure there's a really good reason, and I'm sure that they wouldn't make a game that wouldn't work with 3, but you can. Apparently you can. You can change them outside of combat. So you have to, like Corin was saying, that it forces you to think strategically about what 3 abilities you put on your wheel before you go into missions and stuff. It would be a nightmare if you couldn't change them. Like, if you could only change them in the lighthouse, and as soon as you left on your mission and you went outside of the lighthouse, you couldn't change them. That would be a nightmare. Something that I'm going to have to get used to very quickly, because I do play on nightmare mode. It's one of my favourite things to play strategically on high difficulty levels in Dragon Age. No shame to anybody who doesn't, by the way. You're not going to get shamed for what level you play games on this channel, but I'm intrigued. Maybe between the 2 loadouts you'll technically have access to 6. Who knows? There's a total of 5 abilities. You pick 3 of the 5. Oh, okay. Well, maybe then it's not going to be so bad. Casual Andy here. We respect that. I don't mind if you play on casual at all. I will be playing on casual for the first time because I want to experience the story. And then once I get used to the game, I will be cranking that shit up to 11. Just because I'm a huge masochist, and I fully accept that about myself. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it works, especially with such an intro. You guys saw the skill trees for them. I have them on my Twitter if you want to see them. But they're so intricate, and there's an awful lot going on, and then to only have like 5 abilities on it. So I'm just going to reserve my judgment for when I actually play the game and I feel how it functions as a game. I'll see how we feel. As seen with Spicy Bears. Hello?
We have another question from Tasteful Toxel, which is, will Fireball and Cone of Cold be back as skills or as spells in Dragon Age: The Veilguard?
Oh, I love all these combat questions. Really good. So, Fireball and Cone of Cold aren't specifically back. However, their successors are Frost Nova and Meteor. So these serve the exact same combat role and function as those other abilities. I would also say it gives them quite the glow up. So Meteor in particular, like, so satisfying nuking a group of Darkspawn with a well-placed Meteor. It's really wonderful.
I want to throw meteors.
And what accessibility features are available? I would love to know if there's an arachnophobia mode. Will there be mod support?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Arachnophobia. I am wicked afraid of spiders, too. My partner always laughs at me. I'm just terrified of them. That said, that's one we're going to save for a little bit closer to launch before we'll go into full details about accessibility features. But I do want to assure you we've spent a lot of time thinking about this topic so you can play the game in a way that really works for you. I'm excited to share that with you when the time is right.
So this one is from a username named Kookie.
Cookie!
How long is the time skip from Inquisition to the Veilguard? I know we'll probably get
10 years. Next. It's been 10 years since Trespasser and Veilguard. Oh, if you want to hear their actual answers, of course, please go to Gil Durthalen's video and watch it in full. I'm just reviewing it and using sections from it for this video.
Still bald. Solus is still Solus.
Solus is still bald.
question, which is Solus still bald?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you've watched the gameplay thing, we can all confirm, yes, Solus is still bald. Solus is still Solus. I really like how Solus has turned out this time around.
He's hot.
I will say, here's a comment on this specific question that's going to sound like a non sequitur, but
yes,
once you get a chance to play it a little bit more, maybe you'll see it. In Thedas, ancient elves, they go bald when they're like millennia old. So Solus wasn't always bald. So if you were end up seeing what Solus looked like in the past, things might be a little different.
Solus with hair. I did the cosplay. It's on my Twitter. Solus with hair. Let's go. He's gorgeous without hair, though. But it's when they're a millennia old. So, wait. Are you telling me, like, Solus has been asleep for 1,000 years, right? He's been in Uthenera for 1,000 years. That man went to bed with hair. And when he woke up, he was as bald as an egg. And, I mean, that's going to affect your psyche at some point. Like, never mind the whole psychological effect of waking up in a tranquil world with no connection to the Fade. This man went to bed with hair and woke up absolutely hairless. Solus, my hair, probably. It depends on how old he was when he went to sleep. I don't think he was already a millennial. Well, I can't confirm that, so you're right. He might have already been a millennia old when he went to bed. But we can't confirm. I just like the image of him getting into Uthenera, getting into bed, passing out with a full luscious head of hair, and then he wakes up and he's bald as fuck and he goes, oh shit, that was a long time. Like, he just knows that it's been 1,000 years. He just knows it's been a millennia. Because, oh well, we've reached that age, bald as fuck. He does use magic to stop his head burning in the sun, though, so he's obviously prepared.
Now that said, I'm sure some of you are wondering what happened.
He just sits up and it all falls off. Bless him. He just sits up and there's a perfect, like on his pillow, a perfect outline of his head where all his hair just stays. And he sits up and little strands fall off down. Oh, bless him. Bless him! He had a wig in Tevinter Nights, though. I wonder if he still has the wig. Spoiler, in Tevinter Nights he wears a wig.
Happened to Solus's wig.
There it is! Oh my god! Hold on. Let me put that back.
Once you get a chance to play it a little bit more, maybe you'll see it. In Thedas, ancient elves, they go bald when they're like millennia old. So Solus wasn't always bald. So if you were end up seeing what Solus looked like in the past, things might be a little different.
Now that said, I'm sure some of you are wondering what happened to Solus's wig from Tevinter Nights. I'm sure he still has it somewhere. So
he doesn't wear wigs to cope. He was infiltrating a meeting in disguise. Will the wig be joining the party? Can we romance the wig? Mr. Epler, we need to know. Can we roll to romance the wig? Roll. 9, fuck!
He's just taking care of it elsewhere.
he's just taking care. It's his most important possession.
Literally, Solus in this meeting wearing a wig with a cup of tea, just like, hello, fellow kids. Don't mind me. Carry on with your meeting. I'm not here to listen in. I fucking hate tea. Solus, probably. Is it just me? Or might they be hinting that we get to see Solus before he was bald in the game? I got that too. I picked up on that too. how they said that if you see Solus before he went to sleep, maybe you'll see him with hair. I've been saying this now for fucking years. I want flashbacks. I want fade flashbacks to when he was a young man and the Evanuris were fucking in power, and we can just see what things were meant to be, what things were actually like back in Solus's day. Can you imagine if we got an insight into little flashbacks of teenage Solus being an absolute pain in the Evanuris' side? I would love this, please. Flashbacks, flashbacks, flashbacks.
The pride there, huh?
Solus with hair in a flashback is going to look like a Whitesnake video. Yup. he had in concept art, he had a lovely kind of like mohawk thing going on. It was really nice.
I have another one from Matt. This is: will we be able to change companions' appearances and outfits, or are they fixed, similar to Dragon Age 2?
Good question.
Yeah, Dragon Age 2 was
Fantastic.
We loved how the followers turned out in that, but it was sad given our constraints that we had to keep them with just one basic outfit. So we really tried to make some space for them this time around.
Cool.
So they still have kind of iconic color palettes and things like that, but they do have a wider range of appearances that you can find for them. Some are just cool, but then there are some that are tied directly to their narrative and just kind of what's happening in their life.
That would be cool. What if you could customize Neb's prosthetic leg and made it a gun?
Another one for you, which is: will we be seeing or visiting Kal Sharok? And Tyrant says that they've been obsessed with it forever. Kal
Sharok?
Yeah, me too. I will say what's been really cool. So in previous games, we've kind of alluded to this before. It was a lot of fun to hint at the locations that were off the map, the mysterious places that you weren't going, and so you could just bring in some props or some characters, a piece of art. Things like that. Even Tevinter was only vaguely hinted at, and then we would just add drips and bits and pieces. So that stuff was really fun. In the Veilguard, we're actually getting to visit like a whole lot of those locations that had only been hinted at.
But is one
Antiva? So you
actually
do run around Tevinter and a bunch of the other locations that we've revealed. But this also means like we're not completely filling out the map. And so that there are actually new things that we can start hinting at, that we can start drip feeding, and so it's kind of fun. I'd say, yeah, for what we can show of Kal Sharok and other locations, it's just there's more to do.
Give me Antiva.
Awesome. Mr. Fight Monster 118 asks: will the dialogue wheel / options be similar to Inquisition and Mass Effect Andromeda in the sense that it's more tone-based?
Yeah, so we have a number of different types of wheels in our game. All the dialogue wheels are based off the same principle. Anyone who's played a Dragon Age game remembers what they look like. In Dragon Age the Veilguard, we have tone wheels, which are, again, role-playing your character, picking consistent tone. We also have emotion wheels where you can pick specific emotional reactions. And choice wheels, which are, I don't have a strong emotional or tone tie here, but I do want to make a choice based on what I do. Investigates obviously return as well, but we do want players to understand as much as possible what it is they're going to be picking and understand. And again, choice and consequence is fun. We want to make sure the choice is clear, even if, again, one of the best parts about consequence is making sure that's not entirely clear. So
that was the one problem I had with a lot of BioWare games. Specifically Dragon Age, is that I would pick a dialogue option that I thought had a specific tone, and then it didn't. They said something completely different. So I actually really miss like the Dragon Age 2 one, where it had like the diplomatic version, the diplomatic answer, the Joker answer, and then like the standoffy answer, which I saw in the gameplay reveal that they have brought back. They're bringing back Purple Hawk, or in this case, Purple Rook. Purple Rook is back, and I cannot wait to be purple again. It's literally the theme color for Dragon Age the Veilguard. We're all gonna be purple rooking across fucking Thedas. It's gonna be grand. Can't wait. Hello?
How extensive are Rook's decision trees for dialogue going to be with the companions and also with NPCs throughout the game?
Huge. I mean, again, it's a Dragon Age game. We want to make sure you have choices. We want to make sure you can choose both your role playing, but also choose outcomes of conversations, choose how events unfold. So, I mean, again, it's a Dragon Age game. We want to make sure that we also react to decisions you've made. So, for example, you may be talking to a follower who is an elf, and if you yourself are an elf, obviously you're going to have a different perspective on events than someone who's not an elf. Sometimes that means different conversation options. Sometimes that's going to be an entirely unique dialogue trees, as well as based off decisions you've made throughout the game. So, again, making sure that the game feels like it's noticing what you're doing is a huge part of how we've written out the dialogue wheel or dialogue trees.
Which I love. I love that everything in these games is consequential. I love that if you don't talk to a person in Mass Effect 1, it will affect how your game ends in Mass Effect 3. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love stuff like that. I love when a game is smart with your decisions. It's going to bring a real sense of replayability and almost urgency to the game, because I'm like, have I spoken to this person yet? Am I going to piss off this person? Is this going to affect like how the game plays out? Like, if I piss off this one person, can I talk to this other faction? It's going to be so fun. I love it. I just want, if they bring in that essence of Mass Effect into this new Dragon Age game, this game's going to be fantastic, because Mass Effect is flawless. I will absolutely die on that hill.
Blueberry has a question for Corinne. It was mentioned that we will be able to romance who we like. Does that mean that all companions are romanceable by all player characters, regardless of race or gender, as it has been in the past?
This.
Yeah. So, we have talked about this in some of the interviews. I've seen a few articles about it, so I'd recommend everyone check out those articles. But let me just give you a quick overview. Each of the 7 companions have full romance arcs, and they are romanceable by all genders. Absolutely. But something that's really important to us on the team, so I want to make sure that we clarify and just double down on, that doesn't mean player sexual. And if anyone's unaware of what we mean by that, it doesn't mean that they conform or twist their identities to who you, the player, are. Like, they won't suddenly have a preference for men or women based on what you're playing, right? Instead, they have their own fully fleshed out identities. They are true and authentic to that.
Love it.
In this game, they are all pansexual with their own histories of romance. Sometimes you'll hear about preferences or things of that nature. And what I really love is if you don't pursue a romance with them, they'll actually build their own romances with each other. So in one of the interviews, I talked about Lace Harding and Tosh getting together. I give that example because honestly, it's one of my favorites. I'm going to put a question back to the community, though. I've heard we're going with Lash for that ship
Lash?
name. You tell me.
Like Lace Harding and Tash Lash. Sounds a bit like whips are involved, which is, I'm there for it. But yeah, I love that. I love that the companions are canonically pansexual. So it's true to their gender, it's true to their sexual identity, it's true to who they are as a character. They're not pandering to whatever character you want to play. It is canonic that they are all pansexual. And it's written in their history and their character as well, which is fucking fantastic. So you can romance whoever you want, but you have to work for it. And I do like that about it. How it's not like Baldur's Gate 3 where everyone just jumps on you. It's you have to like charm them. You have to like build them up. But Dragon Age has always been like that. Dragon Age has always been, you've got to get their approval rating up high enough before you can even start a romance with a character. And I like that. I like that it's I could romance no one if I wanted to. I could play a fully ace playthrough if I wanted to. And then the companions will romance each other, which is adorable. I love that. I can't wait to see who else falls in love with each other. Emmerich and Lucanus. Emmerich and Lucanus. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying anything. Davrin and Lucanus. Davrin and Lucanus. I'm just putting it out there, guys. Calm down. Everything's fine. Unless your Anders, poor man, is just like desperate for love. Bless him. He just wants to be part of something. He gets bullied by everyone, but then he does blow up the Chantry and kill a bunch of people. So he... that fucking man.
Like, what is that ship name?
I'm going to skip ahead.
That one just rolls off the top.
Probably, I think easily.
Hold on.
Is from Fallen Artesia. What are the markings on the faces of the Elven Warden and Veilhopper?
Valis Lean, obviously.
So there's quite a few, probably I think easily more than we've done before, tattoos from various cultures. We're bringing the Valislin back, of course. But there's a ton of different options, especially when we're again going into all these new regions. Each area has its own kind of visual language for that. But yeah, we are bringing the Valislin back, and then a couple of the characters have them, but we've kind of customized them a little bit. They're a bit more specific to their personality.
Please tell me more.
And this.
Okay. So what I got from that, which I actually like, and I wish he could have told me more about this, but it's my image of the Valisleen. The Valisleen are the face tattoos that the Dalish wear. They represent the gods that they worship. And each Valisleen is different and customized to each god. They were the designs for the Valisleen were different in Origins, they were different in Dragon Age 2, and they were different in Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm more familiar with the ones in Dragon Age Inquisition because that's the one I've spent more time playing and the ones that I've learned by heart. However, I love the concept that all Dalish elf clans represent their gods in the same way by having the tattoos on their face, but their tattoo designs are customized to how they perceive and represent their gods. Like, it's all personalized per clan or per region, and I love that. I love the thought that one Dalish clan who worships Elgarnan and has Elgarnan, Elgarchad, Valisleen would have the design would be different than like another clans who have like a different idea of how to represent Elgarchad, but it's still for the same god. So the markings that we see on Belara and on Davrin are Valisleen designs that I've never seen before, but they all represent the same thing. I just can't wait to find out who they are. I wouldn't be surprised if Belara's was Gillinan or Andruil, and probably Gillinan though, because there's the little bits under the eye. Could be Andruil. And if Davrin's was either Falondin, Durthamen, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Elgarnan. But I just like that little piece of headcanon lore that I have, that all of the different clans would draw the Valisleens in their own personalized designs.
Is a question for all of you. What are you as a developer most proud of about the game, and what are you most excited for players to experience when it's out?
I'm going to skip this question, not because I don't want to hear it, but because go and watch fucking hell, Gil Durthalen's video. If you want to watch the full video without my commentary and to catch all these questions that I'm skipping, I'm just looking for the meaty chunks that tell us things about the game. And just for pure clarity, go and watch her video for because it's her upload anyway. I'm just here to review things.
Really, to make the story more.
Has to be the character creator.
Being able to work across all the disciplines. They really do. Excited, and this story of excited mix of novelty but also familiarity. It's like coming home in a way that I think is going to be very exciting for people who are existing
like
Dragon
coming
players.
home.
But there's also so much here that's just new and exciting for people, new players and old players alike, and going to parts of the world, seeing things we've never seen before, and just getting to take this amazing world, this amazing series, and expand on it and build on it in ways that have just been honestly an absolute thrill. The
Depth of them is wonderful. And
Absolutely love that. I knew that question was going to have some of my some of my favorite answers, and it delivered. So thank you, 3.
It will. I'm sure. Please go and watch Dirtha Len's video if you want to hear what they're all the most excited about. But I just want to comment on that comment there, that it is like coming home. Every single time I open up a new Dragon Age game, it is like coming home. Whenever I come home to Thedas, it's going to be fantastic. I might actually shed tears on Twitch when we play it. I think it's even more, it's personal for each elf, not just the clan. I love that as well. I love the thought that they've designed their own Valasleen. That's really special.
This one's a fun one. Why does Varric have dark hair now? I feel like John mentioned this a little bit earlier.
Because he's 10 years older. Let's see if they mention anything about why it's so dark.
But
just for dwarves.
He's been adventuring for a while now. His hair is more gray, but he's been in very dark scenes so far. So we'll see him in some more context.
Okay, so his hair isn't actually jet black. He's just been in dark environments, but he's actually got gray hair. Okay, I can let that slide.
And this question we actually took from Tumblr because there were a few really good ones in our Ask box. Will the Inquisitor be appearing in the flesh, or are we just choosing their major...
Is that siren on there? For a second there, I thought that siren was outside my window, but my window's closed and I got confused. I'll just put that back.
And this question we actually took from Tumblr because there were a few really good ones in our Ask box. Will the Inquisitor be appearing in the flesh, or are we just choosing their major Dragon Age Inquisition decisions?
No, they're there.
Yeah. Yes, they will. The Inky does appear. We know how attached y'all are to the Inquisitor.
Inky.
I've seen the love for your OC. Yes, the Inquisitor shows up. Now, we'd already confirmed that in a few places, so let me just say you can also customize them. It includes some of our new customization options.
And give them good
hair.
hair.
They're going to show up and they're going to be your Inquisitor.
And I think beyond that, I mean, the story of Solus and the story of the Inquisitor obviously are tied. They're tied together as much as any story. So it would have been strange for us not to bring them in for this one. They're going to be a part of this story. So.
And you get to customize them at the beginning. So like after character creation, after you've made your rook, you get to customize them right at the beginning of the game. So it'll be interesting to see how they tie into the story. Solus meets Llewellyn and just says Mavanan, nah, and then Llewellyn's like, get home, you daft prick. What the fuck do you think you're doing? You've left me for 10 years. Do you know how long I've been looking for, and now I find you and you're tearing down the veil and fucking everything up again. Solus, come home, sit down, and just get a bye.
Will there be any planned DLC? Just
here we
curious,
go.
as I always love the DLCs. Oh,
Someone asked about DLC earlier. Here we go. Is there going to be any DLC?
and transmog armor. This one came from Lavelle.
Transmog.
Oh, heck yeah. Good question.
Transmog armor?
So right now, our focus is entirely on the quality of the game.
Transmog?
It's so important at this stage for us to be all in, all attention on just finishing this game and delivering on the quality, the promise of it. So honestly, that's all I can really say about it. We're 100% focused on this being the most complete game we can make it.
Answer the transmog
I will
question.
say kind of related to that, though, and I just want to underscore this. I want to emphasize it. There's not going to be any transactions. There's not going to be any battle passes.
Good.
You don't have to connect online.
We know this.
Our focus is making this the most complete single-player game we possibly can. Now, this was kind of a twofer question. I love when we do that. Will there be transmog? Hell yeah. I'm the kind of player that believes fashion is the real end game. Yeah. there's a transmog system. Absolutely.
Fuck yeah. Do you guys play Final Fantasy 14? We're getting glamour plates. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. So it doesn't matter how ugly the armor is going to be. I'm going to make it fucking gorgeous, and I get to keep all of its stats. I could make like the ugliest armor with the best stats ever and make it look like fucking pristine. My Final Fantasy 14 heart is so happy. We're getting glamour plates. Fuck yeah. Here we go! 2B leggings win! Fishnet tights win! So basically stat swapping? No. What a transmog is you get to keep all of the stats of the armor that you have. So say that you have a piece of ugly chest armor that has like really good stats on it. You can transmog it to make it look better, but keep all the stats. So say you have like a level 1 shit gorgeous looking piece of armor that you can't wear because the armor the armor is so low for your level. You can turn your really buff, horrible, ugly armor into this cute little level 1 thing, but keep all the buff armor stats. It's great. Fashion first, saving the day later. Exactly. Because I'm all about, if it looks ugly, I don't care how good the stats are, I don't want to wear it. I will scrounge through Thedas in the most gorgeous looking shit armor just because it looks better. I am so excited about that. My WoW heart for transmog, my Final Fantasy 14 heart for glamour plates is rejoicing with you. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to customize that.
Absolutely.
Whoa,
It's sick.
that's huge.
And then this next question is from Scott. I was asking if any of the characters will be explicitly asexual or on the ace spectrum.
So
No.
good. Such a good question. So look, I'm gonna be really forthcoming with y'all and a little bit vulnerable here. I'm ace. I'm a gray ace. I don't mind sharing that. I'm kind of public with it.
Woo!
I will say though that none of our companions this time around are explicitly ace. When we look at the characters, their motivations, who they are, we always assess like, is this the right time? This time it wasn't. But what I will say, for everyone on the ace spectrum out there, I would love to represent an ace relationship.
Fuck yeah. Finally.
Sometime in the future, when it feels like the most authentic fit for a companion, when we can do it best. Oh, and I do see, some questions. What do we mean by ace?
I love that. I'm Demi, so I'm technically on the ace spectrum. I'm essentially ace until I'm not. All my demisexuals in chat will understand. I would love to have ace representation. They really missed a beat by not giving me an ace Solarian romance in Mass Effect. I'm just saying. It would have been the prime opportunity. Let me romance the asexual space frogs, please, BioWare. But it's nice to know that we have not only a trans woman as a dev, but an ace representative as well. And that in the future... we might be getting an ace relationship. Just hand-holding and book reading. Just enjoying each other's company. Or platonic companionship. Fuck yeah, let's go. We had a question redeemed. Do you know what a character you will play in Veilguard? I know that you will be an Antivan Crow, but what class and race and all that. So I'm going to make my D&D character. He's an Antivan city elf. And he's a rogue in D&D. But I play mages. But I saw that there was a subclass called, what was it, Spirit Blades or something like that? So I'm looking to maybe playing some kind of mage, dagger using Antivan Crow. But I will be an elf, and I'm very excited to Spellblade. That's it. Thank you. I'm very excited to experiment with Spellblade. I have pictures of my D&D character on my Twitter. That's going to become my rook. His name is Neve, which I'm very thankful that Nev's name is Nev, because then there would have been two Neves and I would have been confused. But Yeah, I'm very much looking forward. My first rook is going to be a City Elf, Antivan Crow, Spellblade, I think. And then my second rook is going to be Mornwatch, Necromancer, I Will Romance the Old Man. What about you? What are you guys making for your first rook?
Asexuality. Spoiler, all kind of risen.
So
Let's see. Will we have a camp/home/headquarters that we'll be able to customize?
Yes, it's called the Lighthouse.
Well, this time around, in Inquisition, you had Skyhold. In this case, you have headquarters called the Lighthouse. More to be seen on that, but it's it narratively it serves a kind of a different purpose, but also the same purpose. As far as customization goes, there are elements of it that change over time, and some things that you can adjust. I don't know how much we're really going into that at the moment.
That's fair. What's with all the birds? If you want to watch the full video, remember, please go and watch Gil Durthalin's full video if you want to see this without my commentary and to hear all the bits that I'm skipping. But I'm excited to see the Lighthouse. It's a San. Oh, I see. It's the Griffin. Oh, I couldn't figure him out. I thought it was a bird. I can see it now that you've pointed it out. Okay, thank you. My brain wasn't working at all. Very excited for Hassan. I'm not gonna lie. Let me pet the baby Griffin, please. We can apparently not only pet him, but we can hug him. Best game of the year. Let's go. Fuck it. That's it. It's over. Game of the year. Do it.
Thank you.
Well, and I'll take it as a chance just to geek out about world building, because again, the Veilguard for us is a really kind of dream opportunity to go to places that we've only ever heard reference to or
Antiva.
We've seen hints at. And so
like Antiva?
in going through the world building process and trying to build these places out, not just as neat things from the IP, but also as, you know, if you've read about this stuff, if you've been following along, you've got your own version of it in your head. You've imagined what it might be like. And probably hoping for something spectacular. And our brains are always far better at creating this stuff than any game developer or any artist or anyone can really do justice to. So you really have to swing for the fences to make something very satisfying and exciting. You know, that can be everything.
Most of the game in the north of Thetis, Mabari are not nearly as big of a thing up
No,
there.
Mabari!
So in this particular, ooh, that's a good question. I will say you're.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Ooh, that's.
Wait. There we go.
I love that. This next question is from Spectre Caro. Are we getting a Mabari?
Ooh,
No.
that's a good question. I will say you're spending most of the game in the north of Thetis. Mabari are not nearly as big of a thing up there. So in this particular instance, no, you will not get a Mabari, sadly.
Honestly, I should have pulled this one up to where we answered the first question about.
Mabari are native to Ferelden, and we're not spending time in Ferelden, so it makes sense. But we do have a Griffin, we do have a San, so I'm prepared to let this slide, because we can pet and hug the Griffin instead, and it makes sense geographically because they're not they're not in Ferelden, so it makes sense. I'm prepared to let that slide.
The Griffin, but can we pet the Griffin?
Yes.
You, I'm really sorry to have to be the one to tell you. No, I'm kidding. Yes, you can, but it's not even just petting the Griffin. This isn't a spoiler. I think you can. I've actually hugged the Griffin, so that feels like even there a step up.
There's lots of opportunities to interact with the Griffin.
Can we see Hassan in chat if we want to see him in the lighthouse hanging out?
Yeah.
Hassan in chat, everybody.
Hassan!
Right.
Hassan is the elven word for arrow, just in case anybody didn't know.
I love it.
And hey, y'all, this was so important to the team too. Like, this is the team's just such huge support for this feature. So props to them.
This one is from Coriander. will we get to see any of the character creator before the game releases?
Coriander is in Corypheus, but coriander, I'm just saying.
Yes, you will. We've got you've probably seen we're laying out a roadmap for what we're going to show and when we're going to talk about it. So yes, you will see it as we get a little bit closer to launch.
Show me it now. I'm joking.
And then we've got
I'll
this
wait.
question, which is, will we be able to play as a Kunari, dwarf, elf, or human?
Yes, we can play as all of those races. All of the races have been confirmed. You can play as elf, human, Kunari, and dwarf. And the camera has been adjusted so that if you play a short character, then the camera will adjust so that you know like how in Inquisition when you were playing a dwarf and you kissed Iron Bull and suddenly your dwarf was like 7 feet tall so that the mouths could connect. Apparently that's not going to be a problem anymore. Or like when Cullen, there was like a mod, which to be fair it was a mod, it's not supposed to happen in game, but someone modded a Kunari romance for Cullen. And during the kissing scene, because the Kunari ladies are so tall, Cullen was just like motorboating her chest, and it was apparently that's not going to be an issue anymore.
To this, your lineage gives you a lot of really unique dialogue options. So that's a really lovely aspect of choosing your lineage as well.
Yeah, so to actually just to bounce off that, to an earlier question about backgrounds, each lineage, depending on the lineage you choose and the background you choose, there are some specific call-outs to, for example, if it's the Morin Watch being a faction from Navarra of ages, you play as a dwarf, obviously your experience in that faction is going to be different than, say, a human or an elf. So there are also specific call-outs tailored to those combinations, and with, again, giving the intention of giving each lineage their own little flavor as to how they fit into that faction as a whole.
That's really interesting as well, because like the Morn Watch is predominantly a bunch of mages, but obviously there are non-mage members of the Morn Watch as well. Because like how far are we getting into dwarves still can't use magic in Veilguard, especially with the veil coming down? I'm so excited to see the dwarves' involvement in magic. Because it's hinted at that Scoutlace Harding has magic. So I need to know, is it just going to be like enchantments? Is it going to be like runes? I'm excited to see how the dwarves get involved in this. With their link to the Fade and to magic has been severed for millennia now, and will they reconnect with their magic? Either through the veil coming down or through their connection with Titans. Like I'm very excited to see if that's going to be touched on, and how the dwarves then slot into all of the magic dominated factions. Very excited, looking forward to it. Also, someone said I would like to see character creation demo soon. They did hint at a character creation display, like showing a little bit of character creation reveal between now and release. So I don't know how close to release they're going to do that, but they have hinted at it. I have heard whispers on the wind of a character creation showcase between now and release. So we'll see if it happens. We'll see when.
Hey,
Hello?
John, I've got a question from someone named Joe for you. Where is Barkspawn, and is he okay?
It's a great.
If you want to know what happened to Barkspawn, please go and watch Gil Durthalin's video. I'm going to skip ahead.
For example, you name every single character Bob because that's the only name that's Yeah, so Rook's last
Please speed him through these.
say Mabari live exact
Well,
question.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are really speeding through these. Let's see. Will Rook have a set of default names?
Yeah, so Rook's last name is defined based on their faction. Again, we wanted to tie that into your backstory, but also there's a name generator that can give you a selection of first names. Obviously, if you want to make your own first name, that's definitely something we support as well. if you're somebody who maybe has a little bit more difficulty coming up with a name, so for example, you name every single character Bob because that's the only name we can think of, we also give that opportunity for that generation. So
That's cool.
I definitely always have trouble coming up with what I want to name my characters, so that's great. This next question is, when will the voice acting cast be announced?
I heard that you can also give Rook a last name, like Rook isn't his last name. That's something you guys told me, which is something I'm very excited about. I'm very excited that Rook is an alias, like a code name, and I can put my D&D character's full first and last name in. But the name generator will be awesome and does take an awful lot of pressure off of it. Like it's the hardest thing. Like I'll spend 5 hours in character creation and make a character that I'm happy with, and then spend another 5 hours trying to name the bastard. So I like that. If I don't have a name pre-chosen for my Rook, the name generator is going to be fantastic and such a lifesaver.
So we worked with a lot of very talented actors on this one. I am super excited to talk about the voice acting cast.
Yes.
We'll be talking about more over the summer. We're not quite ready to announce names yet.
That's fair.
And I think we have a similar answer to this next question, which was, will there be a collector's edition and when can I pre-order?
Yes.
Yeah, same answer. We have. We'll talk more about the different editions of the game soon.
When can I pre-order it?
Are there any special musical guests running the soundtrack? Will tavern songs return?
Oh my goodness, yeah, there are tavern songs. And, huge credit to the audio team and performance teams because they're pretty great. There's one at a little tavern in Manrathas called the Swan, and the song you hear there.
Hold on 1 second. The Rook's last name thing was in the article, but just now they said Rook's last name is tied to race and faction. Oh, so it's going to be like if you, like an Inquisition, if you make a dwarf, then you're a Kadash, or if you make an elf, you're a Llewellyn. Is it going to be like that? Probably. That's unfortunate. I would like to put in my actual D&D character's actual last name, but that's okay. I can let that slide. That's something I can get over super easy.
Or it's up there. It might just be my favorite of the tavern songs.
The Swan, interesting.
Let's see. Are there any... Oh, I just asked that one.
Did someone confirm that Hans Zimmer is doing the soundtrack to Dragon Age Veilguard? Was someone trolling me when you said it was Hans Zimmer? Someone confirm.
What are the required PC specs?
Oh!
Much like the other two, we will have more information on required PC specs soon.
How am I supposed to prep my PC specs if I don't know? Look.
Saf from the Discord server noticed that Dragon Age 2's main theme from the soundtrack brought back much of the iconic thematic material of Origin's main theme, but I heard less of it in Inquisitions. Can we expect the Veilguard's main theme to recall more or less of that original thematic material than Inquisition?
Did this person just say that the main theme for Dragon Age Inquisition wasn't thematic and didn't really bring out... It's the best one. I literally have it playing at the start of stream every day. We literally sit here and don't even start Dragon Age Inquisition until we listen to it. They're wrong. It's the best one. I'm sorry, commenter. You're wrong. The theme is in the story. It's fine. I'll get over it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's our national anthem. Maker, can you hold my beer? I'm gonna punch Carivias. We don't do anything until we sing the national anthem.
So we're not quite ready to talk about music yet in specifics, but in broad strokes, I can say the process for us is always the same: working with the composer, figuring out themes, figuring out what kinds of elements we want to keep, tying specific elements to maybe specific characters. It's a really in-depth process and a really collaborative process. We have some fantastic audio people on our team that have done an amazing job working with composers, and with the team as a whole to make sure that, again, we said earlier about cohesiveness, making sure that the music feels like a cohesive part of the experience.
Yes.
And this one I see is also for
Oops.
John, but I think anyone can answer this. When writing the overall story of this game, what themes did you want to have as the prominent focus?
I mean, again, it's interesting because when we're writing these games, and this has been true on every Dragon Age I've been part of, what you start with and where you end up aren't always necessarily the same. Sometimes you start writing out a theme, you realize actually it's more interesting if we attack it from this angle, or maybe if we twist it a little bit. I will say for Dragon Age the Veilguard, from the beginning, one of the biggest themes has been regret, how regrets shape people's lives, how people deal with their regrets, how people maybe move past their regrets, and each of the characters, you know, the stories and as a whole have elements of this tied through. We really wanted to have that thematic, that cohesiveness to the game story and the game's writing. So,
And I
So regret. There's a story in To Winter Nights, my least favorite story, where Solus's frescoes turn into a regret demon. So I think Solus is living in, of course Solus is living in regret. He doesn't want to do any of this, but he's an idiot and he thinks he has to because it's his job or something. I don't know. He's duty is the death of love or some shite that I heard once in Game of Thrones. But yeah, he's living in his own puddle of regret, isn't he? Should have just gone home with Inky. Had a lovely night. 10 years ago. Put something nice on the TV. Put something good on to eat. Sat down. Watched some fucking daytime TV or something. Like, watched a movie or something. Silly eggy. Do we throw bees at it? Not yet. But we should. We should throw bees at it. But yeah. So hopefully, Solus being locked in the Fade is going to give him time to reflect and realise that he's going to go home with Inky tonight and they're going to have a great life together. And I'm going to deal with... I will deal with the Evanuris. It's my job now. As Rook. I put my hand up. I take full responsibility. Solus, go home. Look after the Inky. Make babies or something. I don't care. I'll deal with this. You've done enough, Solus. Sit down. I don't think I've skipped past the food question. I don't think so.
I know that, you know, we've kind of already answered this a few times, but can we play as dwarves, and does the world react to your race and backstory? It'd probably be good to just directly answer that one.
Yes,
dwarves
you can play as a dwarf.
magic?
Yes, the world does react to your race and backstory. And again, you'll have unique dialogues or unique conversation options based on that backstory and as well as that race.
Awesome.
I'll give you a little nugget here because I saw it scrolling through real quickly. Do you have beards? Like, so when I think about can I play as dwarves, I think about do we have glorious, fantastic beards? Hell yeah, we do.
But do
yeah,
the
I
women
can say,
have
as somebody
beards?
who plays a lot of games with character creator, the beards on the I don't know what magic the character art team did for the beards, but they feel like a beard should feel like. It's great. They look
I
awesome.
just saw somebody say it's beard time. I love it.
But do the dwarven ladies, can they have beards? Let's go.
Beard time.
Will our heroes and companions leave us if we go against their wishes?
I assume so.
Oh my goodness. Do y'all just love pain?
Yes.
Do you want us to make you cry? If you go against their wishes, if you make decisions they don't like, I will tell you, you can piss them off. You can.
But
they
they
might
won't
not
leave?
agree with you, and they will take some time away. That said, this is the biggest threat to Thetis we've ever seen. So they are always going to be willing to show up to defend Thetis, but yeah, you can piss them off and they'll leave for a minute. As it relates to them showing up to defend Thetis, well, yeah, they will, unless...
No spoilers, Corinne.
I'll leave it there.
Unless they die. Unless they fucking die. No! Unless they die. It's the only... Unless they literally die. Fuck! Characters can die. I heard that. Characters aren't safe anymore. Characters will perma-die. There's so much pressure. It is Mass Effect. It's Mass Effect. It's Mass Effect 2 all over again.
That was spoilers.
Okay, all right. But
Save,
they want it.
save scum for fucking days.
Yep.
Don't try to stop me, Shmee.
This one's a fun one about some inspirations for the game. Draconma would like to know if any songs, books, movies, or anything have had inspired any of the writing for the characters.
I mean, honestly, the thing about art is always a synthesis of your own experience.
If you want to know the answer to that question, go and watch Girl Durthalin's video.
And, you know, sometimes it's impossible.
Making Harding a...
Hold on. There we go.
What was the thinking process behind making Harding a companion this time around? Was she always going to be one, or did it evolve into one because she was such a lovable character?
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit. Sorry,
so Harding,
that was me.
I mean, when we released Inquisition, it was impossible not to see the love that people had for
because we all demanded that she was a companion.
Murderous girl.
She was one of the devs' personal favorites, and I can't remember who. I can't remember if it was Mark, if it was John. I can't remember whose personal favorite Scout Harding was, but oh yeah, no, we screamed about it.
Next door dwarf. She's always been a fan favorite, obviously, but I think beyond that, it's something that Harding's writer wanted to explore. There was more of a story to tell there, and more perspective.
Who wrote Harding?
And beyond that, Harding obviously has a strong connection to Solus and to the to Varric and to the events of the past 10 years. So I wouldn't say it's always been, but I'd say Harding's probably one of the first ones we settled on as like, yes, this is a character we want, and the writer had a story that they wanted to tell with her, so it just made sense.
You know, I think actually to piggyback on that, that's something I hadn't really even thought about that much. And it's not a huge part of her character, but she tends to be one of the people that have the most insight into who he was.
Yeah, that's exactly, and yeah, that's a great way of looking at it too. Is it also provides you with a little bit of that perspective for players who've been around, you know, who played with previous Dragon Age games, but also for new ones. Who was Solus? What kind of character was he? Yeah, it's a great using characters to provide windows onto the world is honestly one of my favorite things.
And
I wonder why they didn't say the writer's name. It would have been nice if they actually like dropped the writer's name. I don't know who wrote Lace Harding, but I wonder if they're still there. Or if they were one of the many devs who got laid off. EA.
And when I say was, I just mean in Inquisition.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yes, thank you for correcting that.
Yeah.
And what approach are you taking to quest and world design in the Veilguard?
Mass Effect.
I think for us, it just comes down to relevance and narrative heft. We want to make sure that each quest provides either a perspective on the world, a perspective on the characters, or feels immediately and obviously relevant to what you're doing here. You're here to save the world, and at the end of the day, one of the things that we heard loud and clear was some feedback about how relevant, or in our case, not relevant, previous quests have felt. So for Veilguard, we really wanted to make sure that these quests felt like something that somebody faced with the end of the world would believe was necessary and important. So again, there's quests of all sorts and sizes, but all of them share that same feeling of, this is the kind of thing that the Veilguard would do. This is the kind of thing that my hero would do, especially faced with the end of the world.
Yeah, that's really good, John. That's so right. I would just again double down on how handcrafted all the quests are. You know, whether you're doing like the main story, or you're journeying with your companions, or you're out exploring and you encounter a mystery. Everything's handcrafted, intentional. We spend a lot of time listening to what y'all said, and of course everyone has slightly different tastes, but you know, you're not going to be gathering shards in the hinterlands.
Woo!
Everything is built
Okay, am I the only person who enjoyed gathering the shards? I'm not gonna lie.
with intention, and you know, a dev there lovingly handcrafting the experience.
Yes.
Are there any locations in the game that can only be accessed by making specific story choices?
The hinterlands was my favourite place. Everybody shits on the hinterlands, and people always like say to me like, oh yeah, you like go and do all the quests in the hinterlands. Then I do every time. I clear out the hinterlands. It's my favourite place. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful location. I love the laundry list that the hinterlands provides, and I love seeing that map clear of quests. It's so satisfying for my ADHD. Genuinely my favourite place in the whole of Inquisition.
So I don't want to get too much into spoilers here, because this
And
does start
spicy
getting into
bears.
spoiler detail, but I will say that locations can fundamentally change based on decisions you make. Some of the parts of the world that you go to, you can have the choices you make have an impact on how these spaces exist and develop. So yeah, and again, don't want to get too many into story spoilers, but your decisions do impact how the world shows up.
That's interesting.
And will we be able to control our companions in combat through tactical mode, or if the PC or player character gets KO'd like in previous games?
Important.
Right. So if Rook gets KO'd, your player character gets knocked out. This time around, it is time to reload your save. Or better yet, the companions have really interesting progression. You can spec them out to be able to revive you. But
Excellent.
That's if you've invested in their own progression and what they can do. And that said, I mentioned this earlier, but I personally spend more time in the nature of this combat system when everything comes together, interacting and directing the companions, than I have in any of the other games. So like that interactivity between them, once you play it, you'll see how just engaged the team is.
And
So if your characters don't know how to revive you and your rook dies, is it game over? Is that what they said? No. Like Shepard. It's just Mass Effect. We're playing Mass Effect Dragon Age style. No. But we can set the companions to revive us if they're spec'd out properly. This is going to... Oh, no. I can hear the Mass Effect game over music in my head.
user named It's Sarah said, my real most
Yeah, exactly. So just don't suck. Get good, bitch, basically. Hold on, let me just put that back so we can hear this question.
my real most important Dragon Age question is, will Solus still occasionally or dramatically speak in iambic pentameter?
Very important question.
You know, I actually spent a little bit of time trying to figure out if I wanted to answer this question in iambic pentameter, and then I very quickly gave up. Massive kudos to Patrick, who always writes Solus so well. Again, Solus is a returning character. It's the same Solus you know and love or hate, depending on who you are. Same writer, so I think this has been the answer is, well, yeah, it's Solus.
Critical mission failed.
Will our decision of who in particular was left behind in the Faith be important?
I'm so excited for this. I hope they answer it. Because I left Hawk fully expecting Hawk to come back when the veil tears down, riding a fucking demon with a beard that comes out to here, like true Robin Williams Jumanji style, just grabbing someone and being like, what year is it? I want it. No, I left Hawk for a reason. If anyone can survive the fade and come back angrier and meaner, it's going to be Hawk. But if they're about to tell me that it has no relevance to the rest of the story, I will never leave Hawk in the Fade again. But if they're going to tell me that it does have relevance to the story, then not just Varric, fucking Fenris. Can you imagine Fenris getting that letter from Varric? I'm surprised there isn't a section in Inquisition where he's literally burning Skyhold down. I don't even need to worry about going into the Fade. Fenris is going to do it for me just to get Hawk back. It's all tactical. It's all strategic. It's all calculated. I've just sent an angry Fenris into the Fade. We're going to be fine. But doesn't matter.
So while that decision does not show up, sorry, let me restart. Not for the Veilguard. That decision doesn't show up here now. That said, that doesn't mean that that's not a decision that'll ever be important in the future. So again, not for this one though.
I'm glad to hear you say that, John, because one of my favorite stories was Bob getting stuck in the web in Reboot.
Bob getting stuck in the web in Reboot?
And it just feels like...
That's a deep cut.
That's a deep
Holy
cut.
smoke.
My goodness.
Sound of my childhood.
Will we have mounts again? If so, any hints to what types we'll have?
Please. Please. Please don't give me a mount. Nobody uses them. The only reason I use a mount is to break the game and clip through the map. Please. I don't have time for mounts. Please. Unless I get to ride a literal dragon. Discuss. Canadians get it. I don't get things. I'm sorry, I'm not Canadian. Although my name is Edmund, and they're in Edmonton, I feel like I should be involved in the joke.
So no mount. Excuse me. Mounts were they addressed a need in Inquisition that we don't have in Veilguard.
Excellent.
And you'll see why.
I know why. I know why we're not using mounts in Veilguard. I think I know why. Crossroads, exactly. That's the word I'm looking for. We're using alluvians to get to places, and the crossroads to get to places. So we don't need roads or mounts, or transportation. We're just going to be instantly transported there via the crossroads. Interesting. I can send you a link to the moment he's referring to in the reboot. Yes, please. I'd love to be involved in the in-joke.
When you get to play.
Just send it in the Discord.
Lightning Star asks, how is the side quest designed? Will they be mostly story-based, or will there be a lot of Radiant quests or resources or power, like in Inquisition?
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but no, they are all handcrafted and story focused. Again, narrative, the companions, not just the companions, but the characters in the world as a whole are so much at the core of the Veilguard that...
They keep referring to the quests as being handcrafted, as if they were crafted by drills and tools. You know what I mean? Of course they're handcrafted, but what I think they mean is that they've personally worked on each individual mission. So like each mission will have like its own little story that's been like personally adapted by one of the like relevant to the story. That's a good way to put it. Thank you. I'm looking forward to stuff like that.
Mechanic in Inquisition. There's no mechanic like that blocks your progression until you fill a bar.
That's right. Yeah. Again, we want to make sure that doing this content feels as natural and part of the logical flow of the story as possible.
So there's not going to be, you know, like how in Inquisition we had like influence and perks and stuff like that. It seems like there's not going to be anything like that, which is fine.
So it looks like we only have time for 3 more questions, so I'm going to get through those. This next one is from someone named Jason. Will there be a similar system to the War Table missions?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. So we haven't talked much about the player's base,
the lighthouse.
And we're gonna save that for a beat. But what I will say is that the lighthouse, your headquarters, so to speak, it has its own unique purposes and functions this time. So that's an area that we'll leave for you when we talk more about the lighthouse, and then when you have a chance to hop in, you'll be able to see what those unique purposes and functions are.
Cool.
If there is dual wield for warriors, will it rely on dexterity or strength?
Okay, yeah. So we did want to bring dual wielding back. It is part of the rogue kit this time. So warriors are really focused on mighty two-handed weapons.
Or sword and shield.
Can't wait till you see when you swing and connect with those weapons. There's a real heft to it, and then of course sword and shield. So we're leaving the dual wielding to the rogues, but you can see just the amount of hits you can get in rapid succession dual wielding as a rogue. It's really satisfying.
It's my favorite rogue spec.
And
is
the
dual
last question
wielding.
that we're able to get to today is what have been some of the challenges and advantages of working on a single game for so many years? How did you sustain the work and yourselves in the process?
And if you want to hear the last question, that was the last question, wasn't it? If you want to hear the answer to the last question, go and watch Gil Durthalen's video in full. That's pretty much the Q&A. Derek, you said something about a food question. What was the food question, just out of curiosity? And can I just say another huge shout out to Girl Durthalen, whose video I was referencing for that. If you want to see a full video of the Q&A without my incessant commentary over the top, and to see all of the questions that I skipped over, please go and watch Gil's actual video. And a huge thank you again to Gil Durthalen for uploading it. So come back over here. We'll just sit here in this chat for a little minute, and we'll do a little review. Someone asked if there is pasta in Thedas, and I think John talks about it for a while, and it's pretty funny. What did he say? Is there pasta in Thedas? The BioWare Discord has a full transcript of the Q&A. Nice. I should probably join. Can anybody join the BioWare Discord, because I should probably do that. Being an avid Dragon Age fan that I am. Yeah, I'm in it. I'm just on mute. Nice. There's noodles, you believe. Excellent. What is the BioWare Discord called? Is it just BioWare? I think their Twitter has the links on there somewhere. Awesome. I should probably join it. It's just BioWare. Perfect. So, yes, there is pasta, and they thought about all the different types of food that would be available for different parts, but I doubt there's going to be restaurants you can visit. That would be funny though. Just take everybody out for some pasta in Orlais or something. Raveni pasta, let's go. Please ignore all of the mess down here. I am packing for a con this weekend. I'll sit over here slightly. But what? I sent you an invite to the BioWare Discord. Thank you very much. What do you guys think? What are you most excited about? Was there a part of the Q&A that really stood out to you the most? Or something that you didn't like? Was there anything about the new game that you're kind of iffy with? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear your thoughts whilst I look at the BioWare link. Where did you send me it, out of curiosity, Slayer? Eddie, I was wondering if you have a theory on the potential consequences of Solus removing the Valasleen. Do you think any Dalish with it would be controlled by any of the old gods? I don't think so. It's never been implied that the Valasleen can control people. However, what could happen? Do you remember that scene in The Mummy where, what's his name, Benny? Starts, Imhotep is coming towards him. And he's all mummy and stuff. And Benny goes through all of the religious symbols that he has on his necklace. And he does Christianity. And he goes through all the religions until he gets to Jewish or something. I can't remember which one it is. And then as soon as he starts speaking that language, Imhotep's like, "Oh, you're one of mine." And then he starts sending Benny off to do things. It could be like that. Jewish and Old Hebrew, thank you. I'm very ignorant of everything. I appreciate that. Yeah. So when he starts speaking Old Hebrew, because Imhotep recognizes the language, he's like, "You're one of mine, go out and do my bidding." What if you've got like Elgarnan Valisline, and Elgarnan's just like tearing everything apart, and then he sees your Valisline and he goes, ah, you're one of mine. You're safe, come with me. Like that I can see happening, but I don't think he might not have like actual control over them, not unless he implements that. But I don't think the Valisline as it stands right now have any like power over them. But it could be like that scene in The Mummy where Elganan's like, every time he sees someone with Elganan's Valisline on his face, he's like, you're safe, go over there. Go fight for me. But then he might shit on everybody else. Like if he doesn't like Andruil and you've got Andruil's Valisline, maybe you'll be like the first on his target. Can you have Elganan Valisline? Yes, you can. In Dragon Age Inquisition, it's the one that looks like Braveheart. You know, the one that's like that's like half and half black, half white with like the vines going through it. That one's Elganan. That's Inquisition, yeah. It was an Inquisition. We talking Chad, Elven God. I'm obsessed with him right now. I cannot believe I still haven't gotten over that's Elganan. It's going to be trippy if Valisline would have a sort of reactionary dialogue, especially since we know it's basically, yeah, exactly. It would be even more interesting to find out, like if you put Elgarnan's or Gillinan's Valisline on your face and find out that Elgarnan and Gillinan are now kicking around Thedas. Is that going to influence things at all? Like, luckily my Inquisitor had Falondins, and my Solus Mancer, who I'm going to be using for my first playthrough of Veilguard, has Dunes, so we're safe for now, maybe. But I have a couple of theories about the Elven Gods that I would love to talk about in a separate video. So if you wait till next week when I come back from con, we could sit down and do like an Elven God review, because I have some theories about all of the symbols on their heads, and I'd love to talk to you guys about it. I know this isn't a Dragon Age question, but I've got to ask, will you be playing Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail next week? Absolutely. Like I say, I'm going to con this weekend, so I can't even like prep for it, but I'm very excited for the Final Fantasy XIV next expansion for sure. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. The Q&A was good. I feel like it was a little bit of fun. It was very insightful. I'm so excited about transmogs. You guys don't understand how excited I am about transmogs. Finding out that you only get 3 abilities on your wheel is kind of interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out, and hopefully it's not going to be too janky. I'm very excited about, what was it, detonator combos or something like that? Detonation combos. I'm looking forward to stuff like that. I'm looking forward to just exploring, really. I want to explore the characters. I want to explore the combat. I want to explore the crafting. I want to explore the regions. I'm very excited. So with all that said, I think that's going to be, unless you guys have anything, what were you most excited about? Rook and all the companions will look fabulous with transmog. I know, I cannot wait. I don't think I've played the Dragon Age games, but oh no, you should. They're absolutely fantastic. They're my favorite games. It's why I'm called Fadewalker. I think that pretty much wraps up everything that we had to review today. I am going to bounce because I have to get up really early for con and I haven't packed yet. So I've got to go and get ready for con. I will be at con tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, so there will be no stream tomorrow, but hopefully this video will be up for you guys to review. If you want to like watch it again, or if you missed the live stream, then you can watch it on my YouTube channel. I'll send a link in chat for you now. Go and follow my YouTube channel if you haven't followed already. All of my links, my socials and stuff will come up at the end of stream for you guys on Twitch. Don't worry if you've just joined. Normally I stream longer than this, but because I've got to get up early for con tomorrow, I won't be back streaming again until next week. But I will let you know on Discord. Join the Discord if you want to be kept up to date with when I'm going to go live, when we're going to play next. When I come back next week, probably on Tuesday, I would love to do a review of the Elven Gods with you guys and play some more actual Dragon Age Inquisition. And with that said, follow all my links as they come up. Thank you guys very much if you've been watching on YouTube. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys next week for some more Dragon Age. Have a good one, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Good night. See you next week. Wish me luck for Con. I will be putting up a bunch of photos from Con on TikTok, on Instagram, on Patreon, so look out for that. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you next week. See you after Con. Bye. Happy Dragon Aging.